What's going on, guys? Phil here from Phil's Craft Corner. Today I'm doing another epoxy resin test. I have this epoxy resin. This is about 3 years old and we're going to compare it with some brand new epoxy that I got today. So the old epoxy is Vista Cascade. This is designed for, I think it's designed for going up to 2 inches. It's quite old, which is, you can see the hardener has yellowed quite a bit, and the actual resin itself is a bit cloudy, so it's a bit difficult to work with. I'm getting a lot of bubbles, and I'm also running out, so I needed to order more anyway. This new stuff is Deep Pour by T-Expert. Both of these mix at a ratio of 2:1. The T-Expert mixes on a ratio of volume, so milliliters or ounces, things like that. Whatever you use for your volume, that's what that 2:1 goes to. The Vista stuff, that is 2:1 by weight, so one part A is that's part A on this side is 100 grams and part B is 50 grams, for example. So it's important to read the instructions and make sure you know you're mixing either by volume or by weight. To measure out the volume, I've got these little cups. I just got these from Hobbycraft. They were on sale. I got 8 of these. I think it was £5.30 for the 8. I've got some alcohol and acetone so we can clean these out. I'm not going to use part A or part B in the same one, so they're not going to mix in these basically, and if they do, it's smooth on the inside, so these will just peel out with the epoxy sets anyway. So my test is going to be to use these cups. I'm going to fill up to this line here. That is just over 1.5 inches. So we're going to see how clear these set and how bubble free they are, because I'm quite a lot of bubbles from the Vista. So I'm just going to mix them up and try and mix them in the pot, and then leave them to set and cure fully for a full 24 hours. So I've got these little spoons. These are plastic, completely clean, brand new out of the packet, so they're not going to introduce any kind of contaminants. I'm going to mix this as slow as I possibly can to try and get everything in there. Okay, so this one is all mixed up. It's just about at that line, as close as I can get it with the ratios. You can see it's quite cloudy. Doesn't mix up very clear. It does set pretty clear though. It's not too bad. There's something in the middle there. I don't know what that is. It might have been something in the cup. Might have been something just floating around in the air. Don't know. But we're not judging by what's in it. We're judging by how clear it is and how many bubbles there are. I'm not doing anything special other than that. So now let's crack open the T-Expert Deep Pour and we'll see what that one works like. So I measured that at about 110-15 milliliters. So I'm going to do I'm actually going to do more, and then I'll pour something else. 200 of part A and 100 of the part B. So that's what we're measuring out. So I actually made a right mess pouring this into this cup, and yeah, I didn't measure things out properly. I ended up over pouring into a smaller cup and then pouring it into this one, and just made a mess. But it worked out in the end. It was a lot harder to mix the two parts of this one as it was with the Vista. The Vista mixed together in a couple of minutes. This one took roughly around 10 minutes to mix everything together, but in the end it turns out a lot better anyway. Right, so that is wonderfully clear, apart from the bubbles that I've mixed in there. Like I say, hopefully when it's degases in the curing stage, that'll go away. Generally, when you want to pour into another pot, you want to hold this. Wow, I've got the weakest cups ever. You want to hold it at an angle and pour it slowly, like so. And then tilt it up. Need a tiny little bit more in there. There we go, so that's out of the line. So what I'm going to do is, both of these I'm going to let cure. You can see the difference in how cloudy they are next to each other. I'm going to let them cure as they are. No degassing, no nothing, just that is it. I'm going to put them to one side, 24 hours, and then we're going to see what they look like. Alright guys, so these are cured and you can already tell a huge difference between the two. I'm going to try and get these out of these cups and show you the main differences, but this one is pretty much crystal clear. This took 48 hours to cure. This one was cured in about 4 or 5 hours, and there's just a lot of bubbles in there. It's got that hot that the cup started to warp as well. Just bubbles in the bottom there. Don't think there's any in there. I think that's just the shape of the cup down there. So let's try and get these out and we'll see how they look. I'm just going to have to cut these off, I think. So once you get the cut started from the top, it's easy to just rip. And this comes off. Oh, the bottom of that hasn't actually fully cured, so I mustn't have mixed it properly there. So we'll forgive that bit. We'll just concentrate on this centre part where it is cured. As you can see, bubbles there, bubbles all over. There's a couple of bubbles in the top. Cut this one out as well. I wasn't sure if the bottom came off then with how clear and perfect that went. So there's a tiny bubble right at the bottom there. One tiny bubble. The rest doesn't look that clear because I had alcohol on my hands from the sticky. 1 second. There we go. It's still a tiny little bit cloudy from the alcohol, but you can see there's no bubbles in there. There's a tiny flake on the top from me casting the other thing, but you can see down there that is perfectly clear. Perfectly clear outside. So the old resin and the new resin, one's completely clear, the other one is yellowy and has bubbles in. You can still use the old resin, just put colours in there. It'll still cure up, it'll still work, still go hard, but you cannot use it for clear casting because it goes yellow and has bubbles in. So yeah, I'll show you how I'm using that in my next video, which is casting the skull mould and then at the bottom adding a bit of colour. So casting clear, add some colour at the bottom. That was vital that I didn't have any bubbles and I had perfectly clear resin. So if your resin is starting to go yellow, then use it for colours. If you're worried about it, just get new resin. Hope this has helped somebody. Thanks for watching. As always, leave a comment down below if you've had any problems with old resin or how you use your old resin, so I can test that out as well, because I'm learning. Hope you guys are following along and learning yourselves, and thank you all for watching, sticking around for so long, and I'll catch you in the next video.
Get to your clothes, gotta get it right now. I wanna push all the limits with you right